if you have a dangerous condition on your property, which can be you haven't cleared away snow and ice, or you've got maybe water dripping, which is creating a situation where moss or slippery materials are collecting, you can be held responsible.
If you fall and get injured on someone else's property, could you have cause to sue, and how do you get help? That's what we're going to find out right now, because we're going to ask those questions and more when we Ask the Lawyer. Hi again, everybody. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com. My guest is Alaska attorney Mark Choate, and I want to tell you right at the start, if you want to ask Mark questions of your own, here's the easy way to do it. Go to AskTheLawyers.com, click the button at the top of the screen that says Ask a Lawyer, and you can fill that out. It doesn't cost you anything to ask your questions, or you can call the phone number that's on the screen when we talk to Mark. Mark, it's always good to see you. Thank you for making some time to answer our questions.
Great seeing you today, Rob.
So we're talking about slip and fall, trip and fall, injuries. How common are these in your area there?
Slip and falls are very common. We live in a icy, snowy environment here, so and it's also very wet when it's not snowing. So year round, we have people who slip and fall or trip and fall. So it's common.
Do you have a yardstick or two, something that people can use to easily tell if maybe they might have a case and they should talk to someone like yourself?
I think the yardstick would be common sense, which is if you look at something and go, gee, I didn't expect that to be there. I couldn't see it. That's different than the rest of the sidewalk or the steps. Then it's worth making a phone call on. Lots of people fall. Normally they fall because they've been tripped or slipped. They don't, we normally can walk all right. So if something happens, it's worth taking a look at.
And what are some of the common areas that these kind of things happen in your area? I mean, are we talking businesses, private residences, public streets? Tell me where these usually happen.
I would say that the majority of falls that we see occur in businesses, both at the entryways where people are going to be coming in and out, where you can get accumulations of snow and ice in the wintertime, or you can get water and other slippery materials when it's not icy or snowing. You also get slip and falls in businesses where people there may be water. Someone has mopped and they haven't done a good job of cleaning up. Somebody has spilled something and it's sat there a long time and no one's picked up on it. All those things can be sort of business-related slip and falls. On the streets and sidewalks, it's often more a situation of uneven or unexpected changes because you've got an old sidewalk or something has just not been designed and built correctly. All those things can result in a slip and fall or a trip and fall.
In your experience, Mark, can these sometimes be very serious injuries?
They can. The ones that we see the most serious injuries are generally slip and falls on ice where someone either goes forward or goes backwards and hits their head. And those can be quite serious and can result in lifetime or permanent disabilities. We just did a fall case with a guy who fell and broke his neck and subsequently died. So they can happen.
It would seem to me, too, sometimes these situations, Mark, somebody falls, slips and fall, they're embarrassed, they just want to get away from there and get away. If they do that, does that hurt their chances of having a case? Is it the sort of thing they need to know right away? Yeah, I probably had a case.
I'm not sure they have to know right away whether they have a case, but they certainly need to capture in some way what occurred as soon as possible. Meaning if you slip and fall over something that's slippery or icy or something that trips you, everyone's got a cell phone these days. Everyone is used to taking photos and video. You do it or have somebody else go back and do it as soon as possible so you capture that before it may be changed. Otherwise, it may be just your word. Well, there was a bunch of ice and snow there, and a month later there isn't.
Right. I think sometimes the public may have a misperception about these kind of cases, Mark, that they think, oh, this is an example of a frivolous lawsuit. People should just, you got to be careful where you walk, and that's the problem. What do you say to that?
I would say that that's incorrect. Normally speaking, people are capable of walking, and that includes even people who are older or little kids. I mean, certainly they could trip, but generally speaking, most public walkways and most businesses are required to have safe ways to locomote, to work, to walk, and that includes for people who are older or younger, people who have disabilities. Buses are required to have non-slippery floors. Schools, supermarkets, they all anticipate that you're going to have a variety of people. It's not just going to be healthy Olympic athletes that are walking. It's going to also be people who have trouble walking. It should be safe for everybody. And the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, has its requirements. The International Building Code has requirements on what is to be expected. And generally speaking, absent a snowstorm like we're having right now, you should be able to safely walk wherever you're going.
What's the expectation for like a private property at your own home? Are you expected to keep your walkway clear? Say someone's going to deliver a package to your house. Is that a similar situation?
Actually, you do have responsibilities. If you have a property that no one's ever going to go to, because maybe it's out in the woods, there may be little expectation that you have to do much to make it safe. But if you have property that mailman's going to deliver mail, a Domino's pizza person's going to come, you're going to have guests over. If you have a dangerous condition on your property, which can be you haven't cleared away snow and ice, or you've got maybe water dripping, which is creating a situation where moss or slippery materials are collecting, you can be held responsible.
Fascinating, very interesting conversation as always, Mark. Thank you for making some time to help us out.
You're welcome, Rob. Good seeing you again.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been Alaska attorney Mark Choate. And I remind you, if you want to ask Mark questions of your own, go to askthelawyer.com, click the button at the top that says Ask a Lawyer, and you can ask your question right there. It doesn't cost you anything to ask your questions. Thanks for watching. I'm Rob Rosenthal with Ask the Lawyers.